Entertainer that will be on with us a little later on. His name is Chester E. Whitmore. So, at any rate, because we're going to talk about the historical aspect of our city in jazz, in blues, in theater performances, none other than the Dunbar Hotel on Central Avenue in its historical aspect. But let me tell you how it started right here in America. And it's a poem by Vender Alexander Gray. They crossed a body of water in their little ships. Gangsters, outlaws, and various misfits. They finally reached the land already occupied, a fact their discovery seemed to deny. Now, the people here didn't own the land. You see, possession was not a part of their plan. Rather, a great gift from the Great Spirit for them to use, to be honored, respected, and never abused. But the visitors had quite a different plan. With their might is right, they would tame the land. So after they dug in and established their post, they murdered their way from coast to coast. Gave them diseases, claimed they couldn't stop it, raped the land for monetary profit. Then, to further enhance their dream, they embarked on a brand new scheme. Let's find some folks from another place. Make sure they're of a different race. And as an added perk, put them in chains and make them work. Well, steal their knowledge and their culture, reducing them to things. Then proclaim to the world they're not even human beings. Thus the country prospered in wealth and in might. Just don't look too close to the KKK meetings at night. How about the police action in Korea? When the soldiers came home, the government said, "See ya." In Vietnam, it was even worse for one that came home not riding in a hearse. The war was over. You would think the government would be overjoyed, but they paid little attention to the unemployed. Now they say money is the only game in town, while rich people get fat, holding old and poor people down. But faulty construction will not stand. It will fall apart as if built on sand. So don't be so smug, although that could be your thing. Remember, it's not over till the fat lady sings. And that's written by Vender Alexander Gray, a young man that I met in the Groove Yard in Lamert Park. And that's why we come to you from the Groove Yard, our virtual video podcast. We talk about art, music, and creativity. The interview series hosted by myself, Roscoe Lee Owens. And let's get into it, Mr. Quijano. Let's take me in. And I wanted to start with that because I wanted you to understand that the only thing that we have is what we have and who we are as to whose we are. So the opportunity to come through the atmosphere of Lamert Park, which is a central hub for our culture, comes from the historical aspect of the Dunbar Theater, the Dunbar Hotel, the Dunbar on Central Avenue back in the days in the 40s, 50s, as it reigned supreme because as the poem stated, as African American artists came from the Midwest, from the East Coast to Los Angeles, they had to stay wherever they could because the hotel situation was terrible in terms of utilization for African American people and especially for the musicians. So, what happened was they built this beautiful hotel for African Americans on Central Avenue. As downtown grew from where Biddy Mason established a root understanding for African Americans, which is really in the center of downtown Los Angeles right now, but that's where it started and it gravitated up central as changes began to happen in our country where the um, Japanese and Asian folks were coming in and settling in that area. And as they settled in that area, it became basically a Chinatown, Asian town area, and African Americans was moving south down Central Avenue. And for an 8 mile stretch, basically from, I would say, the 41st Street and that all the way, and even closer than that, downtown, just moving up Central Avenue all the way to Central and Vernon, past that to Central and Slauson. But that whole area right there, they had absolutely entertainment throughout the land in that particular segment. That entertainment moved over to a city street named Western Avenue, where the Tiki Club and several different clubs were opening up. And then it moved to the Parisian one, which was over on Washington. I'm just talking about the historical aspect of music and art as it moved through the Los Angeles area in its historical aspect. I'm going to stop right there because I know that we will have a guest on that could really share some more light on the subject. And at this time, I want to take it and ask for your support for our podcast. And I'm going to show you why, because we have an absolute awesome engineer, creative person in the background, Mr. Kijana Owens, who's going to share with you some of the exciting videos and understanding of our partnerships with others in presenting this podcast. So, Kijana, would you go ahead and share that with them as well?
Welcome to the Jazz Zone. Allow the Jazz Zone to make your next event enjoyable and entertaining. The Jazz Zone is great for private parties, weddings, festivals, fundraisers, grand openings, and corporate affairs. Move up to the next level of entertaining with the Jazz Zone. Check out our website at jazzzone.net. That's JAZZZONE.net. Or call the Jazz Zone at 626-798-6848.
Gabriella Venturo here with Wow Actions.
Pomona is poetry, a tapestry, a canvas, a mecca, a magnet, a pathway, a portal, a pass, a place, a progression in process, city of 6 Ps, city of a Silk Road nature, feeding everything and permitting transport from our valley to the sea, from the sea to the mountains, from the south and west to the east. We straddle 3 counties, Orange, San Bernardino, and Los Angeles counties. 10, 60, 71, 57, 210, and Route 66, and artistic culture is our bounty. And downtown we have our own arts colony, Pomona, known statewide for arts and innovation. Pomona, known nationwide for spoken word poetry. Pomona, known locally for peacocks, hills and valleys, Cal Poly, Mount Sac, the Fairplex of LA County, trade shows, speedway races, people of multiple races act characters, the DBA, the Glass House, the Metro, the Fox, grooving on a Friday night. Pomona got a goddess and we have the heart to bear fruit, but we hold the spirit of hip hop and punk rock, self-determination and mindful meditation on crafts and side hustles. Pomona is poetry, Pomona is art and architecture, Pomona is progression. After a long acknowledged pause, we have a new front in a united cause for peace, advocacy, equity in art, arts, and education. Pomona's parks are perking up to provide safe spaces for our youth and elation. Goal line connecting us to more community and economic opportunity. This is the new Pomona now. Let's get on the frequency.
Hi, my name is Kijana Owens. I am co-founder of Success Express Marketing Solutions. Our business is cultivating more business for your business. I want to tell you real quick about our program that is one of the most comprehensive business development online marketing support programs out there, which is the VASP, VASP, Virtual Assistant Support Program. This system allows you to operate and run your business while we help monitor and help you cultivate more business for your business online. Contact us at 909-686-1698 and visit us online at successexpressmarketing.com. Look forward to helping you take your business to the next level.
You know, that's what I get by not being on time and scheduled properly in terms of what I do. So I thank you very much, Mr. Kijana Owens, for creating this podcast. But in terms of being a better host, I'm looking at being sure that I get the information in sooner. I don't know if Mr. Chester Whitmore has logged in. I just spoke with him on the phone. And so I'm trying to get him up, but I had pulled up some really great information on Chester, and I just don't seem to have it right now. But that's how it goes when you're going live and you're not prepared. So what I'm talking to is myself about being prepared. I'm talking to those that are doing podcasts or presenting themselves out there to be prepared with your subject and your information so that your presentation can go the way that you desired and planned it to go without being focused on making sure that it happens that way. So we open the door of opportunities. We are looking for the opportunity to do some things. What we're speaking to was the history. That's why I started off with the poem of Mr. Gray. That's why I went into the understanding of what was happening on Central Avenue as it moved across to Western, as it moved across to the Parisian Room, and then as it came into the aspect of the development of the Leimert Park as a cultural hub. When I first met the opportunities to go on the Leimert Park area, it was in transition. Beautiful space, and they had historically the Brockman's Gallery, the also the Vision Theater. They had Crossroads, which was in the back, which is a performing arts aspect, all the way to other aspects of it as well. Okay. uh, one of the things that we have developed is a major cultural hub in the Leimert Park area centerpiece. When we're talking about the Vision Theater, we talk about Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center, talk about the uh, Jazz California Jazz and Blues Museum, which Barbara Morrison developed, coordinated, and is in absolute positive imagery in our community. The world stage, which was there many, many years ago, has been established. Great musicians from around the world, and especially those musicians that are local that are performing there as well. Continuing to, is thank you for continuing the amazing culture of live jazz music in Southern California. Yes, sir. And that is by the incomparable Mr. Uh, Chester Whitmore. I don't know if he's on the line and did he come in? Is he in the show at this time? If so, there he is, right there. Mr.
Hey,
Thank
hey, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing fine. You know, I was just talking about you and our history and Central Avenue, but I want, you have a whole historical. I just watched a video of what you're doing. I think it was February this year at the Dunbar Hotel, and the historical aspects of what you're doing with dance, music, art. So let me hear from you for a while. Tell me about what's going on with Mr. Chester Whitmore.
Well, what's happening right now? Uh, the amazing thing is we're trying to make it through this year. One thing, but, and all of us, and because we lost a lot of people. But the main thing that I'm doing right now is regrouping, changing our phrase of mind because of all that's happened within the say like 2 years right now. It's still educating and still keeping up the hope of our legacy here in Los Angeles. Because in Los Angeles is a melting pot of all the artwork that we have been having for all this time. And so the main thing is what we're doing now, I'm doing is teaching the historical value of Central Avenue of jazz in Los Angeles. So jazz in Los Angeles is a very rare thing. Everybody talks about the Harlem Renaissance and everything else, but the Los Angeles has a very incredible, rich era, and it begins all the way. Starts from it starts from 1899 all the way up to 1955. 1955 was the point when everybody migrated from Central Avenue and brought themselves back down to we say the Midtown, like Midtown, Baldwin Hills area, Wilshire District, the Leimert Park area. But the thing is, I try to educate where this all started. Now, like I said, when you say Harlem Renaissance, they used to think about New York City. Yeah, but now Harlem Renaissance, when you say that, it spread it all through the cities. That doesn't mean just Harlem. I'm talking about like Chicago and everything. And I'm our factor. We talked about Los Angeles, Los Angeles jazz. We had everybody from Jelly Roll Martin to Charlie Parker, Ernie Andrews. I mean, Joe Wilson, and I mean, it was a critique of jazz, and really, it quietly kept when jazz in the '50s or was like big band and stuff was. They say it dying out. I wouldn't say it died out. I think it was more dormant. I mean, just laid sleep. Uh,
Yes.
so it moved into another fashion. So it moved into the television world. Television. Have you ever noticed all the jazz artists in order to work, they did their writers, mainly the writers and composers, theme songs for motion pictures, like detective stories and movies and animated cartoons. I mean, have you ever sat down and literally listened to the Flintstone soundtrack? I mean, the Flintstone had incredible soundtrack with the big bands and everything, the Jetsons and Johnny Quest and all the but all the sitcom I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, all the theme songs were written by these incredible Billy Mays and a big band leader. So they had to convert to move. Uh, one of my favorites was the detective series called Peter Gunn. Remember Peter Gunn?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
Henry Mancini. Henry Mancini was one of a great great composer, and he hung around with a lot of like Basie and Teddy Wilson and stuff. These great composers, and Duke Ellington. Duke Ellington had a factor and did a movie composition. A lot of people don't know. It was what's the name of that movie? And that's out here in Hollywood from Central Cape. Anatomy of a Murder. You ever get a chance to take Anatomy of a Murder with James Stewart, and the music was by Duke Ellington.
Roger Hamilton Spots wrote several.
Oh, oh yeah, Roger Scott is the cat.
Yeah,
Well, real, you mean to say Mr. Spots was my mentor in the world of big band jazz. Roger taught me a lot. I mean, he knew I knew music. I had music. I came out of Dorsey High School doing marching band. I did marching band, symphonic band, and moved into some of the jazz workshops and then went to Los Angeles City College. But Roger took me under his wing and said, "You know music, but you need to really know about how composition." He opened my eyes on how to work with musicians. That was a valuable thing in hearing music, and he introduced me to a lot of great musicians in the world. I didn't even know Mr. Spot was in a class. He played saxophone before he played piano. People know him as a composer, but he was with the great Frank Foster, which was also with the great Count Basie. And he was the one that got me a chance to meet Count Basie, and I got a chance to play with him and play drums with him. And legendary Curtis Kirk, I played drums from him, Raymond Pounds and stuff. Is that- And of course, your dad, he's a monster of. I'm talking about jazz. Come on, man. He held the fort down of all the clubs around here, as well as Los Angeles, across the country.
you
So
know, uh, that's how I met Mr. Roger Hamilton Spots. Was he was playing with my dad in the trio. He and Bob Lacefield all over the Southern California area, and not being a musician, I was just amazed at the uh, knowledge and the help that Mr. Roger Hamilton Spots brought to my dad's trio, and it was just amazing. I had to say that. Thank you, though.
amazing guy. He was one of those composers. You could tell um, some composers will write on sheet music and do certain things. If you were a vocalist and you had to sing, uh, he said, "Well, let me hear you sing," and he'll sit there and listen to you sing, and he get your key and everything. He said, "Okay, I'll see you 2 days later and have your arrangement." And you said, "Well, he didn't hardly get to a piano. He did it." The next day you come back and he has your chart ready, and the band will play the chart, and it's perfect. He fits it around your character, your personality, like a glove.
They say, what are you doing coming up? I want to get a couple of things in there, but let me get Kijana to get a quick commercial in because we need support for what we're doing and who we are as an entity with the Groove Yard, our special video podcast.
Yeah,
Kijana, hit us up with something right quick, and we're going to come back with Mr. Chester E. Whitmore.
Success Express Marketing Solutions presents your virtual video podcast studio. Let the Success Express team help bring your podcasting dreams to life. Here's what we do. We help you come up with show ideas, design graphics for your show, set up your podcast studio, and run the back end of your show. So what do? Be ready for your show. Make sure your guests are ready. Log into the virtual studio, turn your cameras on, and go. Not sure you're ready to go live on a monthly or a weekly basis? You can get the Try Us Out Success Special. It's only $97 with free design setup. All you got to do is try us out, and I guarantee you're going to want more. So get set up today with your virtual video podcast studio from Success Express Marketing Solutions. So go online to Success Express MKTG, and we'll get you set up today. Sign up now and get our free ebook, Modern Podcasting, that'll teach you all the techniques you need to know to get your podcast started today.
Okay, we're right back on. I want to bring Mr. Chester Whitmore back in. We only have a short period of time. Chester,
Yes.
tell me what's going on in your world and what we're looking forward to, and how can I send our audience to something that you're doing right now other than us working together in Leimert Park?
Well, you can always call me. You could go, of course, I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube, mainly Facebook right now, but within the next week, keep your eye open up for a channel. It's called VBN. VBN is called Vernacular Broadcasting Network, which we preserve and show black films, historical films, black exploitation films, the black experience, and live concerts. Also, we'll be doing lessons and classes. We'll be working with historical, like music lessons, dance lessons, historical black dance lessons, and that'll be coming up. It's called keep your eye out. It'll be out this week. It'll be called VBN Vernacular Broadcasting Network, and it has a lot of the great things to introduce you. The next thing I'm working on is right now. It's called Countdown. Countdown will be at the end of this year. Just the COVID happened. I'm going to be showing new jazz artists, new singers, new dancers. It's a 2 hour starting at 10 o'clock at night. Go to those who don't want to go out for on New Year's and be safe. You could go on it. It'll be a BBN. And I'll give you all the contacts of JazzZone and have everything. And it will be consisting of the big bands. And it'll be a countdown going back and bringing in 2022. So we're getting that happening. At the same time, I'm working on 5 other scripts. Again, we talked about Central Avenue. One is on Central Avenue. It's a movie script I'm working on. And another was on the Savoy Ballroom in Harlem. Yes. So I have the rights to those different movies. And hopefully, my object is to recreate and make history and make work for people. There's jobs for people. There's too much talent here in Los Angeles for us not working. So I'm creating stuff from musicals to comedies to sci-fi And I'm have a movie coming out in February with Tyler Perry called A Jazz Man's Blues. That movie is coming out, and my other commercials out with Usher right now on the Randy Martin commercial.
You know, I saw, I guess, a clip or some parts of the project that you were working on. I said, wait a minute, he's the bartender too. Commercial.
Over in that,
I said, my
yeah.
man, Chester E. Whitmore is an amazing, amazing person that folks should know will be in our history book for many, many years to come. And let me do this, Mr. Whitmore. I want to have you come back next Tuesday on our show so I could be better prepared because I had some information on you that I was trying to send in. But you know, if you, and this is for everybody, if you know what you're doing, put it in your schedule so you can get it right. So it will be just right and tight when the time comes. So I want to thank you again, Chester, for not only for being here, but being a great friend, being a motivator in our community, being somebody that people can look up to and keep on making sense of it all. As I understand that you are a living legend.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I
Yeah.
thank you. Hey, John, I thank you very much for our show this morning. I know we ran over a few minutes more, but you know, congratulations to all of us because being present means we're here. God bless. Enjoy life with God's blessings. And thank you again.
Thank you.
We're going to see you next Tuesday, brother, early.